There's a Russian proverb: if you chase two rabbits, you'll catch neither. Gary Keller built the largest real estate company in the United States by chasing just one. Your to do list isn't a productivity tool, it's a stagnation spreadsheet. And until you burn it down to just the one thing, you're just organizing mediocrity. Hello, my name is Todd Hagopian, the original Stagnation Assassin, the author of this book, The Unfair Advantage Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox. But today, we are doing a Stagnation Assassin book review of The One Thing, the surprisingly simple truth behind extraordinary results by Gary Keller and J. Papasan. So get ready for a hard-hitting, bold, relentless review of this focus manifesto, and we will decide whether it earns a spot on the operator's toolkit. Gary Keller co-founded Keller Williams Realty, a company he grew from a single Austin, Texas office to the largest real estate company in the United States. Jay Papasan is his executive editor and co-author. Together, they built a New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestseller that has been translated into 26 languages and has won 12 major book awards. The core concept: extraordinary results come from narrowing your focus to the single most impactful action and relentlessly executing it. Sounds a little like 80-20 squared. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about what this book gets right. I need to be honest with you. The first time I read the focusing question, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary, I stopped reading for about 10 minutes. Not because I was bored, but because I was recalculating every priority I had that week. One question. That's all it takes to separate the operators from the overwhelmed. Keller demolishes 6 myths that people keep trapped in productive mediocrity. The myth that everything matters equally, that multitasking works, that discipline is the answer, that willpower is always available, and that a balanced life is required, and that big thinking is bad. He systematically destroys each one with research and logic and the credibility of a man who has actually built an empire using these principles. The Pareto principle, 80% of results from 20% of the effort, is the foundation, but Keller goes even further. He says you should take the 20% and apply the 80-20 rule again, which is essentially the 80-20 squared, and again, which is the 80-20 cubed, until you're down to the one thing. That's cascading focus is what creates the domino effect that he describes. A single domino can knock over another domino 50 times larger down the road. Line up the right dominoes at a 2-inch action can topple a skyscraper. That's the compounding physics of focused execution. The time blocking framework is operationally outstanding. Keller doesn't just tell you to prioritize, he tells you to block 4 hours of your morning for the one thing and defend that block like it's your career, because it is. When I was driving transformations that doubled company valuations, the first thing I protected was my focused execution time. Everything else was secondary. Keller codifies this with the discipline that it actually deserves. His goal setting to the now framework connects your someday vision to your 5-year goal, to your 1-year goal, to your monthly target, to what you need to do right now. That kind of temporal cascading creates the clarity that most goal-setting systems can't touch. But let's talk about the murder board, because even laser focus has its blind spots. So what does this book get wrong? First, this book is gloriously simple, and that's both its strength and its limitation. Complex organizations with multiple product lines, multiple geographies, and multiple stakeholders cannot always reduce down to one thing. The CEO of a billion-dollar diversified business unit doesn't have one thing. They have 30 things trying to become the one thing. Keller's framework works beautifully for individual contributors, for entrepreneurs. It gets a little strained at enterprise scale. One thing is powerful, But telling a Fortune 500 operator to focus on one thing is like telling a general to only fight on one front. Sometimes the war requires multiple battles. Second, this book is a little bit repetitive. The core message could be delivered in about half the pages. Keller and Papasan drilled the same point from every possible angle, which is either reinforcing or redundant depending on your patience level. Third, the balanced life is a lie chapter, while provocative, is nuanced territory that Keller simplifies dangerously. He argues for counterbalancing, going extreme on your one thing, and then counterbalancing the neglected areas. In practice, that philosophy can enable burnout and relationship damage if misapplied. The distinction between strategic imbalance and destructive imbalance needs more surgical treatment. We talk about it a lot on stagnationassassins.com. The verdict, 4 kills out of 5. The one thing earns 4 kills because its core framework, the focusing question, the domino effect, the time blocking, and the myth demolition represent some of the most actionable productivity thinking in the last decade. It's the rare business book where a single idea is so powerful that you'll restructure your week just after reading chapter 1. It loses the 5th kill for oversimplifying at enterprise scale, for a little bit of repetition, and for an underdeveloped treatment of the counterbalancing concept. But for any operator who feels scattered, overwhelmed, or stuck in the purgatory of productive busyness, this book is a focused flamethrower aimed directly at your stagnation. That's the Stagnation Assassin verdict. The one thing earns 4 kills. Simple, savage, and effective. If your one thing right now is breaking free from stagnation, grab The Unfair Advantage, Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox on Amazon. Subscribe to the Stagnation Assassin Show. Visit toddhagopian.com and stagnationassassins.com for the world's largest stagnation databases. You don't need a better to-do list. You need a shorter one, and preferably one that is only one item long.